My golf game is in free fall at the moment. I've gone from breaking 80 to struggling to break 100 in a matter of weeks. So I've decided that now is the time to rebuild my golf swing from scratch before this gets really out of hand. And I've decided to show you guys exactly how I'm going to go about doing that. Now, rather selfishly, I'm uploading this video so I've got a reference for myself if I ever need to rebuild my swing in the future. But also, if there's any of you guys who are struggling with your swing or need a refresh on the fundamentals of the golf swing, this video might really help you guys as well. So let's get back to basics and let's get into it. Now, if you've ever struggled with your golf swing, there's a good to high chance that it's because of your setup. If you're not set up to the golf ball correctly, then you haven't got the foundation to be able to swing the golf club properly. So step one of rebuilding a golf swing is making sure that you're set up to the golf ball correctly. Now, setting up to the golf ball correctly sounds like a really simple and boring task, but it's so easy to get lazy and get this wrong. First thing we're going to do is set the golf club behind the golf ball and make sure that the sole of the golf club is flat with the ground. We don't want the toe up and we don't want the heel up. We want it flush with the ground. From there, we're just going to take our normal stance. We're going to have a little bend in our knees. We're going to have a little bend in our back. But we want to make sure that our arms are hanging down straight and then grip the golf club. Now that little move should leave us standing as far away from the golf ball as we need to. I've got enough space to be able to swing the golf club properly, but I'm not stood too far away that I'm reaching for it. Pretty good swing on that, fair play. Oh, right on the line. My problem recently is that I've been stood too close to the golf ball, and as a result, I've had to try and create space in my golf swing to be able to hit the golf ball properly, and having to manipulate my swing to create space, that's a recipe for disaster. So step one, always make sure that you're set up to the golf ball correctly. Step two of rebuilding your golf swing is all about the takeaway. If you don't take the club away properly, i.e. start the golf swing properly, it will be doomed to fail from the start. Now, my takeaway has been my biggest problem recently. Now, like I said, I've been stood too close to the golf ball, and as a result, I've been trying to create space in my swing. And I started doing that with my takeaway by pushing my hands away from my body. Now, this was creating space, but it meant that my club face was closed a lot throughout my golf swing, which meant I missed the golf ball left an awful lot. Now, because I was missing my targets left, my body tries to compensate to make sure I hit my target. So my natural draw shape started turning into a fade, and that fade is starting to turn into a slice. And if I carried on down this path, I'd be slicing the golf ball 100% of the time. So I need to get this right now before it gets too much. But what's the right way to take the golf club away? Now, the goal for the takeaway is to have the golf club parallel with your body once it's parallel with the ground. This is the perfect start to a golf swing. I'm taking the golf club away using my shoulders, not my arms. I'm not chucking my hands backwards that way. I'm using my shoulders to get to this position. And that's me in a really good spot to start my golf swing. Now, practicing the takeaway is all about repetition. If you're not already set up to the golf ball, make sure you're going through that routine as well to ingrain that in. But basically, I just take the golf club away a few times and just make sure that I'm getting into the correct positions. I'm using my eyes and I'm following the golf club and making sure I get to those spots. The golf club is parallel to the ground. It's in line with my feet and my target. I've got a mirror behind me and the golf club sits right on top of my hands. I'll do this a couple of times following the golf club with my eyes. And then after a couple of repetitions, I'll keep my eyes on the golf ball, get to my spot and have a look to see where I am. That feels slightly wrong. So I'll do it a few times until I get it right. And then once you've done this a couple of hundred times, it'll be ingrained into your subconscious and into your muscle memory, and you'll never have to think about it again. Now, the next phase of rebuilding your golf swing is working on your start line and your club path. Now, I have no idea what this next drill is called, but Adam Keogh, the head pro at England Golf, taught me this in our last lesson, and it's really helped me get back on the path of drawing the golf ball. Let me show you how it works. We're setting up to the golf ball like we have been doing, and we're working on our takeaway. And basically, we're hitting the golf ball from our takeaway position. Now the idea is that we're using our big muscles to hit the golf ball. I'm not throwing my hands at the golf ball from this position. I'm turning my shoulders and turning my hips in order to hit the golf ball. Now in this short space of time, you can actually work on where the golf ball starts, and you can use your body to make sure that you've got an in to out swing or an out to in swing if you want to fade the golf ball. But the idea is that this drill is started from the takeaway position, which is a neutral spot. And we hit the golf ball and we're trying to, me personally anyway, I'm trying to draw this golf ball even with this small chip. So set up to the golf ball like we were doing in the first section of this video. Work on your takeaway. Make sure that you're getting into these spots correctly every time. And then get to that go and hit the golf ball. Again, this is all about repetition, and the more times you do this, the quicker your body is going to learn to hit the ball properly again. And with any luck, after a couple of hundred shots, I'll start drawing the golf ball again. But we can't hit golf balls like this for the rest of our lives. Let's move on to the next phase. Rebuilding your golf swing is all about retraining your body to get into the correct positions for a good golf swing. It's that simple. This next position that we're going to look at is going to be the last position that you need to be working on a regular basis. Once this final position is ingrained into your subconscious, the rest of the golf swing should look after itself. Now this next position is all about where your hands are in relation to your body when your arm is parallel to the ground. For me, I'm aiming for my hands to be in the middle of my chest. Ideally, you need a mirror behind you so you can double check this position. But basically, if your hands are too far outside of your body, you'll end up coming across the golf ball and slicing it. If your hands are too far on the inside, you won't have any room to actually swing the golf club, and you might end up hitting some snap hooks. So, somewhere in the middle of your chest for a neutral ball flight, slightly to the right of your chest if you want to draw it, and slightly to the left of your chest if you want to fade it. Never outside of your chest though. Now the best way to actually work on this drill is again from the takeaway position. So, go through the motions, get to the takeaway position, and work your way up until your hands are in the middle of your chest. I'm looking at a camera now and working this golf club up and down, returning the golf club to the takeaway position and lifting my arms up with a bit of rotation in my body and my shoulders until my hands are in the middle of the chest. In the same way as a takeaway drill, I'd be following the golf club on my hands until I get to the correct position, and then actually keep my eyes on the golf ball and try and replicate that position. Once you've checked that position a few times, you can actually hit some shots from that three-quarter position. So set up to the golf ball like you normally would, go through the motions a little bit, check each drill, and then hit a shot. You'll find yourself working through the drills and working through the positions and ingraining all of this into your subconscious. And the idea being that for me, again, I'm trying to start the ball right and draw it a little bit. But again, I just did it instinctively there. I'm setting up to the golf ball, hanging my arms down. I'm going to work on this takeaway, and I'm rebuilding my golf swing. Starting the ball right and drawing it back a little bit. Rebuilding the golf swing. Takes repetition, but it'll be worth it in the long run. You always have to have a goal in mind when you're rebuilding your golf swing. Like, I've had a lot of issues with my swing where I start the golf ball left and it carries on going left. My goal right now is to start the ball right and draw it back onto target. And if I'm not seeing that while I'm doing this drill, I need to be working on it a lot more. They say it takes 1,000 repetitions of something to become a habit, and that's how much effort and time it's going to take to rebuild the golf swing. But if you're willing to put the effort in, you can really make some big changes to your golf swing in a fairly short space of time. You just need to put the reps in. As you can see, started left, going a little bit left. Not as bad as what has been happening on the course, but I ain't quite there yet. That's a bit more like it. More of that, please. Guys, if you've seen this type of video on my channel in the past, you'll know that I'm not a golf pro. I'm not teaching anyone how to play golf. In recent weeks, I've been having lessons with Adam Keogh up at Woodall Spa, which is the home of England Golf. And it's him that's given me this advice to help rebuild my golf swing. This isn't my usual type of content. Most of the time I'm reviewing golf balls or I'm reviewing equipment. But this channel is dedicated to help mid-handicappers just like myself get better at golf by learning more about golf. So every so often when I've had some good advice from a teaching pro, I will let you guys know exactly what that information is. So if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button, and I will see you next week for another video. Guys, you may or may not know, but I don't actually do YouTube for a living. When I'm not on the golf course or filming a video, I'm helping people find the right mortgage for them. As a UK-based mortgage broker, I provide expert advice on all sorts of mortgages, whether you're a first-time buyer or you're looking to remortgage your own home or look at your buy-to-let options. If you live in the UK and you'd like a no-obligation chat about your options, there's a link in the description to fill out the contact form, or you can simply follow the QR code on screen now. Thanks for listening to that advert. Now, let's get back to the video.